LEGO has taken several steps to further the level of interactivity with their products, whether it was Mindstorm, LEGO Dimensions, Hidden Side, Mario, or their latest attempt, Video. Most of these themes were short-lived and didn't integrate perfectly, but I think that there is a place for digital integration. These themes lead me to the question, what could be the next big interactive LEGO theme? I'm Brick Radiap, and here's my idea for how LEGO could further the play functions of LEGO sets. My original idea for this video was an overall essay for interactive LEGO themes, but with inspiration from the Eurobricks Create a Theme contest, it turned into more of a pitch for a new interactive theme. I came up with an idea for a Dungeons & Dragons style game that would have been based around late 80s to early 2000s LEGO characters. Between the writing of the script, building my theme examples, and shooting this video, LEGO just announced a LEGO Dungeons & Dragons set and potential theme with a LEGO Ideas contest. But I do think my main idea would be usable for any type of theme, and especially for Dungeons & Dragons and fantasy type characters. To me, the most interesting idea for LEGO to further their functionality in their LEGO sets is for a board game. To me, the best use of LEGO for a game is in LEGO Ninjago, and more specifically, Skull Sorcerer's Dungeons. Creating a fun build that also fosters additional play is very appealing to me. A game that reminds me a lot of the possibilities with LEGO is Mousetrap. You put together all the different pieces and they combine to create something that can still be fun for somebody that doesn't want to play the board game. Like mentioned before, there are a lot of these types of functions in the Mario line, but that game is a bit more limited because it can't really be changed from a Mario level. And I think that something like this would need to be more open-ended. I think having an app system for like a Mario has had a lot of potential. And honestly, it is kind of how I imagine that the instructions would work for a system like Dungeons & Dragons. And honestly, looking at the Mario sets, they are pretty empty, not a lot of substance. So I do think for something like this, having really cool builds that could stand alone without the game is very important. And something like this could really build off of that with the use of audio recordings and other sort of sound effects that could enhance the gameplay. Imagine entering a new area of the board and music plays that matches the theme, or being able to have a voice clip play when you land on a certain space on the board. I think the app could be useful for using dice rolls and could also hold the character stats. I'm not much of a Technic builder and don't have power functions, but I think it would be really great to have the app control some motors on the game board to randomize some of the spaces that you can land on and add some suspense on the obstacles. Maybe the game board could be mapped into the app so you could pause it and it would know where you were. I definitely think in this case an app would allow for expanded features and more fun and wouldn't feel like an unnecessary addition. Having instructions built in the app isn't necessarily the best method for getting them, but I do think having a library available to users like this is important. I imagine getting the parts in your sets and entering those numbers of each set. The app will be able to tell you what you can build and the different modules that are available. Thinking something kind of like a 3-in-1 LEGO set. After you select certain modules, it'll subtract the parts that you used and will still list different ideas of what you can build with the parts still available. I think it would also be nice to have an option present where you can build your own sets and have them in your database. Thinking some sort of compatibility with a studio type program where you can build your own things. But again, this is a lot of complicated ideas, and these sort of features can end up being a rabbit hole. But I do think this would promote a wider level of imagination and play. Again, like I said, I'm not a Technic builder, so I didn't end up building any of the mechanisms that would trigger some of the obstacles, but they could still be used manually. So let's kind of jump into the ideas of what I've put together so far. These builds kind of cross multiple themes and environments. You can see in this one that I have Ice Planet, Castle, as well as a jungle that could be seen as an adventurer's type of environment. The first obstacle I built here is a creaky bridge that could send a player flying if they step on the wrong plank. On the back, there's a couple of different buttons you can press that would send the platforms upwards. If you do it quickly, the minifigures standing on there would fling. And on the back of the mountain, I added some sliders there just to show if a motor was going. I assumed that it would slide along there and have a hammer of some sort that would hit the levers. The mount itself seems to have a face on the structure above it, which could be seen as a castle, a volcano of some sort, a demon. And on the inside, I hid a little Easter egg where there is a transparent heart, just to show again that it might be alive. Another one that I did was a trapdoor, which is based off of an older castle Lego set. Depending on how you configure your game board, you could have a treasure inside of there, or like I have right now, a ghost, which could send you running back a couple of places so you're further behind in your progress. In the corner of the ice planet here, I have a little computer terminal, which I imagine also giving you some sort of information that could be useful for later on in the game. And another obstacle I built is something of a wipeout sort of wall where you'd have to cross the icy passage and avoid slipping, or you might get some icicles in the face. And really, these are just some quick ideas that I came up with, and the possibilities really could be endless. Each set would incorporate builds from various themes and just show how they might interact together. An important aspect for them is to have a ground level of some sort that could be a game space. And they are all built with a modular system in mind, so they can be rearranged in any way to change the flow of your games. On top of that, sets would need to have multiple character factions and different levels of alignment. I think it would be nice to have each character have something that is more beneficial than others in the game, whether it's easier for transversing in certain areas, like on ice, or just getting additional steps per roll. Just wrapping up all the ideas that I just presented, I do think all of these put together could make for the perfect Dungeons & Dragons Lego type theme. Having a customizable board game experience like this hasn't really been done before. And if you're going to do licensed characters from Dungeons & Dragons, I do think having cool builds will be very important for bringing in new audiences that aren't super into Lego. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas or what you might disagree with in this video. I'd be very interested to see what kind of ideas you guys have. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe. I'm sure I'll come up with some sort of idea like this again in the future. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.